why we chose Jupiter over everywhere else in Florida. When we decided to move to Florida, we did what most people do. We made a list. And boy, it was a very long list. Honestly, if a Florida city had a beach, a Publix, and decent weather, it probably made the list. We looked at Tampa, Sarasota, Fort Myers, Boca Raton, even a few communities around Orlando, and probably a few others, honestly, I've forgotten about by now. For months, we tried to figure out where we could actually see ourselves living. But no matter where we looked, something always just felt a little bit off. Then we found Jupiter, and honestly, everything changed for us. Today, I'm sharing exactly why we chose Jupiter over everywhere else in Florida, what surprised us during our search, and why years later, we still think it was one of the best decisions we've ever made. All right, but before I get into all of that, if you're new here, welcome. I'm Stacy, and on this channel, I share what it's really like to live, work, and play here in Jupiter and throughout northern Palm Beach County. A few years ago, my husband and I were asking the exact same questions many of y'all are asking right now. Where in Florida should we live? What area would fit our lifestyle? And where could we actually picture putting down our roots? At the time, we were living in the suburbs of Atlanta, and we knew that we wanted a different pace of life. And trust me, if you've spent hours scrolling Zillow and watching relocation videos at midnight, you are not alone. So if you're in the middle of your own Florida search, hopefully our story helps make your decision a little bit easier. Now let's talk about how we ended up choosing Jupiter. Like many people considering a move to Florida, we weren't looking for a vacation destination. We were truly looking for a place that we could call home. A place where everyday life felt enjoyable, but of course a place that had access to water, beautiful weather, and a strong sense of community. And enough things to do without feeling like we were constantly fighting traffic and rushing from one thing to the next. And we looked everywhere, honestly. Fort Myers was beautiful, but it felt a little further away from some of the conveniences that we wanted. And Boca Raton had a lot going for it, but it just didn't quite feel like us. Some places just felt too crowded, while others just felt a little too seasonal. And some just didn't have that sense of character that we were hoping for. And the funny thing is, after you've toured enough Florida communities, they all start blending together. Beautiful palm trees, landscaping, a fountain at the entrance, a lake, wait, another fountain. And at one point I remember thinking, wait, haven't we already been to this one? The deeper we got into our search, the harder the decision became. What eventually stood out was the unique feel of Jupiter and northern Palm Beach County in general. I wish I had some dramatic story where I stepped onto the beach, heard angels singing, and immediately knew that this was our home. But honestly, it wasn't like that. It was a collection of a lot of little things. Driving over the bridges, seeing the boats on the beautiful Caribbean blue water here in Jupiter, watching people paddleboard on random Tuesday afternoons, seeing families enjoying local parks and riding their bikes, people walking their dogs on the beach, which was so cute. And by the way, Jupiter has one of the best dog beaches in the entire country. Everything just felt relaxed, not sleepy, not boring, just relaxed. The pace felt different and the energy felt different. And for the first time during our search, we found ourselves saying, wait, I could actually see us living here. And that's very different from simply liking a place. And of course, a feeling isn't enough to make a major life decision. So we started looking at all the practical things, just like adults should do. Healthcare, property taxes, insurance costs, flood zones, schools, even though our daughter was already grown by then, shopping, restaurants, community events, traffic, all of it. And the more we looked, the more Jupiter kept rising to the top of our list. One thing we kept coming back to was balance. Jupiter just feels connected without feeling crowded. You have incredible beaches, great restaurants, outdoor activities all year round, easy access to Palm Beach Gardens and West Palm Beach International Airport, I-95, Florida's Turnpike are all convenient, yet somehow it still manages to maintain that small town coastal feel. And that combination is surprisingly hard to find. Another factor was where we were in life at the time. We're empty nesters. We didn't need that same kind of house or lifestyle that we had when our daughter was growing up. We were ready to simplify our lives a little, spend less time maintaining a home, doing yard work, and more time enjoying where we lived. And Jupiter fit that vision for us perfectly. One thing that truly sealed the deal for us wasn't a house. It wasn't the beach, although I love the beach. And it wasn't even a specific neighborhood. It truly was the overall sense of community here. I remember driving over the bridge for the first time and seeing that beautiful water. And as we made our way to the beach, it was one of those genuine wow moments. Coming from Atlanta, where traffic was constant and life always seemed to be moving at full speed, the laid-back lifestyle here immediately stood out to us. We visited local restaurants, enjoyed so much live music, attended community events, especially in Abacoa, and we simply paid attention to what was happening around us. And what stood out was how alive everything felt. Families were enjoying the parks, kids were out riding and playing, friends were meeting for dinner, people were gathering for local events, and there was a feeling that people weren't just living here, but that they were actually participating in the community. The funny thing is, it wasn't the fancy stuff that got us. It wasn't a waterfront mansion. It wasn't some over-the-top attraction. It was seeing people genuinely enjoying everyday life. And as we spent more time in Jupiter and the neighborhoods like Abacoa and Botanica, we realized this wasn't just a beautiful place to visit. It truly was a place that we could picture building a life. And honestly, that's when we stopped looking at other cities. All right, let's be fair, y'all. No place is perfect, and Jupiter certainly isn't. Housing costs are higher than many parts of Florida. Insurance can be really expensive. And let's talk about the humidity, because trust me, nobody warned me that some days my hair would have a completely different set of plans than I did. And there are definitely days in August when you walk outside and you wonder, wait, did I leave my jacket on? Traffic increases during season, and some people may decide the costs aren't worth it, and that's okay. Every person's priorities are different, but for us, the positives far outweighed the negatives by a mile. At the end of the day, this decision wasn't really about real estate at all. It was about lifestyle, and we wanted our lives to just feel less rushed. More time outdoors, more connection to nature, more opportunities to enjoy everyday life instead of constantly waiting for a vacation. One thing I've noticed living here is that people actually use where they live. The beach isn't something you save for vacation. The waterfront restaurants aren't reserved for just a special occasion. It's just a Wednesday night. Whether you're in Jupiter, Palm Beach Gardens, or nearby Tequesta, that outdoor lifestyle is a part of everyday life. Weekends might involve boating, walking trails, awesome farmers markets, community events, live music, or really just simply sitting outside because the weather is just that beautiful. People here genuinely seem to enjoy their lives, and that energy is so contagious. And there's a huge difference between liking a place and feeling at home somewhere. And we visited plenty of places that we truly did like, but Jupiter was one of the first places where we could genuinely picture our future. And at some point, we stopped talking about if we moved here and started talking about where we'd take family and friends when they came to visit. That's when we knew we could picture building relationships, creating traditions, putting down roots, and for the first time in a long time, we felt content. We felt truly settled and we felt at home. So why did we choose Jupiter over everywhere else in Florida? It was the feeling we had from day one, and it was that sense of community and the overall lifestyle, and the simple fact that it allowed us to live life that we had been searching for. Would I choose Jupiter again? You better believe it. Not because it's perfect, but because it just feels like home. And at the end of the day, that's what we were looking for all along. If you're considering a move to Jupiter, Tequesta, Palm Beach Gardens, or anywhere in northern Palm Beach County, I'd love to be a resource for you. Feel free to reach out with any questions. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments what Florida cities are on your short list right now. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time, keep chasing sunshine.